This truck is a ticking time bomb, and the customer drove 1,100 miles to get here. Let's find out what's wrong with this Tundra. Well, it's a rainy day here in Kansas, and the cars are dripping water all over the floor. This is a 2001 Toyota Tundra with around 220,000 miles on it. Here's the crazy thing, and this is starting to happen a lot. This customer drove 1,100 miles from Tucson, Arizona to Kansas because he's got tired of the games in his local area. He's watched some of our recent videos and he's like, you know what? I'm not even going to jump on that grenade. I'm not even interested in trying the local people. I'm just going to head to Kansas and get my timing belt and water pump done. That's crazy enough, but I believe 220,000 miles, this thing is on its original timing belt. And although the original 1UZ FEs pre-1995 were non-interference, when they upped the compression ratio after 95, they are an interference motor. So if the timing belt were to snap, bye-bye engine. Let's take a look around this Tundra and then we'll start talking about how old is this timing belt. I want you guys to let me know what you think when we take a look at it. As you can see, this is a daily driver work truck. It is not pretty. It's got a lot of chips in the paint, especially right here above the grill. It's down to the metal. It's not rusted though. It's not surprising because it came from Arizona. So we have our 16-inch wheels with some Bridgestone Duelers. And as we go down the side, you can see some damage where something sideswiped them or scraped down the side, kind of crunched it in. We do see it's the TRD off-road. We do see Toyota Tundra. We see our Arizona tag all the way from Tucson. And here we see bad cop. No donut for you. No donut for you, cop. Bad cop. That's what the sticker says. Anyways. Down the side, we don't see any scraping or any damage, but there is a lot of faded paint on the roof and the hood. Paint is pretty bad on this one. Let's take a look under the hood. Just a second, guys. Let me silence this thing. Oh, great. Another email that my data may have been stolen. Doesn't it feel like you're constantly hearing about data breaches, scams, and identity theft? It's hard to feel safe when the companies can't keep your information secure. I have enough to worry about keeping the shop running, plus I don't even have a first clue how to get my information off all those sites. That's where Incogni, the sponsor of this video, steps in. They work 24/7 to keep my family's data out of the hands of criminals. Incogni isn't a VPN. VPNs only protect you when you're on a public Wi-Fi. Incogni actively searches and removes your personal data from public search sites, commercial databases, and data brokers. It's so easy to set up. Select between a single user or a family plan, create your online account, authorize them to remove your data, then sit back and watch them do all the hard work. If you find a site that has your info before Incogni, just copy that URL into Incogni's custom removal tool and they will go after it immediately. They will even send you an email when it's taken down. Mrs. Wizard used this twice and both times info was removed. Don't believe your information is out there? Google yourself, type in your full name, city, and state. You'll be shocked how much is out there. From what you find, you really need Incogni. Take your personal data back with Incogni. Use code CARWIZARD at incogni.com/carwizard and get 60% off an annual plan. That link is in the description below too. Now back to this Tundra. Even with two hood struts holding this thing up, both of them are bad. This is a very heavy hood. And that tool right there I just used is a lifesaver. It's in our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. You don't have to worry about it damaging the hood struts on the surface because they're already dead anyways, so it doesn't hurt anything and it safely holds the hood up. Now here is our iForce 4.7. We do have a timing cover removed. I'll set that aside, but these are very, very good engines. They last a long time, especially if they're maintained, but they're easy to work on. Lots of room around the engine. Not a lot of failures or anything really to speak of on these. They just go and go and go. They're not known for having massive amounts of power, but they do the job and they do it very well and they rarely break down. Whenever you do a timing belt service as a technician, or even if you do it yourself, The kit always comes with a little decal. Here's a picture of one. It's a little sticker that you usually place somewhere in the engine bay to let the next owner or the next mechanic or whoever know that service has been done. You don't need to quote it. You don't need to do anything because it's been done this many miles ago. Usually they're located in these locations. You'll see it on the fan shroud or the air cleaner, or maybe on this intake pipe. Sometimes they'll be on an engine cover. But as you can see, as we look around, there's no stickers or decals for any service being done at all. Even a paint marker or a Sharpie marker on the firewall at least write timing belt so many miles, so people know that it was done. But I searched all over this engine bay. There is no indication that's ever been done. So I said, Junior Man, go ahead and remove one of those timing covers. I want to see the timing belt with my own eyes. And when I did see it, I'm almost convinced this is a 220,000 mile timing belt. Let's take a look, guys. So you can see the belt. It's very dusty and dirty. And on this surface here, I did run the engine, and as it's running, there is no markings or no stampings or anything that says the brand or Dayco or Toyota or anything. It's just completely black. Unlike a serpentine belt, which is usually out in the open and you can easily see the condition of it, a timing belt usually has some sort of a cover on it to keep debris and dirt and things from getting wrapped up in it. But this one here appears to be original to the vehicle. It's not cracked. Luckily it's not dry rotted or anything or weather checked. But it appears to be the original belt to me because there's no writing on the outside of the belt. It's very dingy, very dirty. I have no reason to believe that this timing belt has ever been done. It's definitely time to do it now. That's why it's here. The customer brought it all the way, like I said, from Tucson for timing belt and water pump. He did take it to the dealership just to get a quick quote, and they quoted him $2,500, almost $3,000. He was like, I'm done. I'm not even going to try anywhere else. From what I've heard on the Car Wizards channel, no, you're not going to get my money. I'm taking it to Kansas. So I get a lot of questions from people. What's the difference between a timing belt and a timing chain? Is it means a different type of an engine, or does it do different things? And the answer is, they look different, but they both do the same exact thing. One just uses a belt, the other type of an engine uses a chain, but when the crankshaft is turning, the camshafts need to be turning in exact time, like matched up exactly with the crankshaft. They can't just turn willy-nilly whenever the hell they want to. They have to turn together or engine goes boom. The way they do that, for the longest time in pushrod engines, you had a very small timing chain. It was like this, but very tiny, like maybe this big. Then they went to overhead cams, where the cams are now on top of the cylinder heads, and they use belts or chains. Depending on what model of car you have, the manufacturer could have designed it with either. Usually not both, one or the other. So here's a timing chain here. As you can see, it's soaked in oil. It gets bathed in oil and lubricated so it doesn't wear down and have a very short life. But these can stretch, they can cause codes, and things can go wrong with timing chain guides and things. But they last way longer than a timing belt. The timing belt on this truck should have been changed around 80, 100,000 miles, somewhere. There's kind of differing opinions on that, but definitely by 100,000 miles. A timing chain, as long as you maintain your car, should never need to be changed, which is very nice. Belts are a wear item. They are designed to be changed out at certain intervals. So I stole this belt from Mrs. Wizard. Actually, she's going to be having an auction coming up very soon. But it says Ferrari. And this was an older belt, but it still has legible part numbers, the date code, and all the different information on it. There's the run number there. Still legible after all those years on this Ferrari. But on this belt here, there is no markings at all. They're completely rubbed off because, like again, I believe this belt has been here since 2001. It's very lucky that it hasn't snapped or broke. I've seen a few Toyota vehicles with 200,000 miles plus with original timing belts. That is such a risk. Yes, it did last, but it's like gambling. It's really not, the odds are against you as well. It's not a gamble you want to take. So let's get this cover moved out of the way and let's get this thing on the lift and see what does the underneath of this truck look like. So this customer came 1,100 miles all the way from Tucson to Kansas to get their timing belt and water pump done. We probably should check the vehicle over to make sure there's nothing else it needs while it's here, because it's quite a long drive. And with 220,000 miles, it is a Toyota. They're pretty invincible, but it's always good to check. Let's see where we're at on this vehicle. So here's our plastic sheet. Not on a Toyota. It's not cheap, chintzy plastic. It's metal. And I don't see any coolant or anything dripping out of it from underneath, so the radiators are fine. We do see some from the drain plug here where an oil change might have been done and the crush washer is leaking, so that's the wetness there. But I don't see anything on the front in the engine area, anything leaking. Pads have about 10 to 15% remaining. We'll definitely let the customer know about that. Struts are dry. Nothing loose there. No blown out strut. Same thing on the brakes here. The strut is blown out on this side, so it'll probably need a new strut. We'll let him know about that as well. Nothing loose there. And our sway bar link is good. So I always hear about a car being an Arizona car, and it's just like the holy grail because there's not going to be any rust on it. This thing proves the rule. It really is rust-free. There's hardly any rust anywhere. Here's our transmission pan. Nothing leaking. With this many miles on it, we will not be recommending a transmission service. We won't touch it. Here's our cats, all intact. Look, Mrs. Wizards, very light surface rust on the exhaust.
I know, and that's you
Very
always see
light.
it. Yeah, we see it on exhaust, but the floor pans and
They're like brand new, and the drive shaft is like brand new. It's black. It's not rusty. The frame is even still black, Mrs. Wizard.
I know, I'm just in awe. It's just even the lines going to the back brakes and things are just almost new.
That's pretty amazing. Here's our carrier bearing. Appears to be in good shape. No loose U-joint there. And we get to the end of the shaft here. Nothing loose there either. Axle has barely got any surface rust on it. We have drum brakes in the back, nothing leaking out of them. Our shock is appearing to be blown out, unfortunately. Shock back here is even worse. Look at that, guys. Oh man, these shocks are, it needs all four shocks really. Nothing leaking out of the brakes, nothing leaking from our differential. And our spare tire is nice and full. It looks like a fairly new tire as well. Let's check out the date codes on those tires. So these tires are from 49th week of 2023, towards the end of 23. They are definitely still good. Let's get this thing on the ground. So on this vehicle, although it's not the prettiest truck in the world, it is a work truck. It needs a timing belt, a water pump. And that's all it came here for. But while it's here, we did find, together we looked at it, we found that all four shocks and struts are basically blown. They're all leaking oil. This one over here really wasn't so bad, but why would you leave that one and do the other three? We're going to do all four of those and see if the customer wants to do those. Also, the front brakes are down to about 10%. When should you change your brakes? It's kind of like your gas tank. If it gets down to 10%, you probably should have gotten gas by now. You probably don't want to wait till 5 or 4 or 3%. The same thing on the brakes. When it gets down to 20%, you got a little bit of time. You need to look into your schedule and your budget to see if you can fit that in. But by 10%, it's time. You don't want to wait till it gets down to metal and starts damaging the rotors. It's very possible we can reuse these rotors and just put new pads and resurface the rotors. It's not going to be true if you wait till it gets down to metal and damages the rotors. That's not the time to do the brakes. It's usually around 10% is definitely time. So how do you know when it gets down to 10%? A lot of manufacturer brake pads have a little metal tab that just sits there and hovers in the air on the brake pad. And when it gets worn down enough, it starts to touch the rotor and makes the most annoying screeching noise, like this high-pitched squeal. It's very annoying. And it does that on purpose. It's an audible noise to let you know it's time for brake pads. Now, how thick are the brakes at 10%? They're usually less than 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/8 of an inch remaining of the pad material. It's getting really, really low at that point. But otherwise, if we're able to do all these things together in one service package for this customer, they can drive back all the way to Tucson and know it's good for another 200,000 miles. Like I mentioned on the transmission, I'm a firm believer when you get to 150 to 200,000 miles, if it has not been serviced, leave it alone. Because the life of a transmission is usually 250, 300. If you've gotten that much already, you could risk shortening the life of the transmission if you drain the fluid. What happens is clutch material is suspended in the oil, the transmission fluid now, and that's basically what's holding the transmission together as far as clutches and gripping. As soon as you put fresh fluid in and drain all that old fluid with the clutch material floating in it out. I've seen this happen many times, guys. My mentor showed me one time. He said, I'm going to drain this fluid. It shifts fine. Watch what happens. He drained it out. We put fresh fluid in. It was his own minivan. Within a week, that thing was slipping. I mean, it was slipping bad. He did that to show me. He knew it was probably on its way out. He's like, see how it made the problem where they might have had another few months, maybe a year left on their transmission. Now since you changed the fluid, you just shortened that to right now. It's time for a transmission. Then you're going to have a screaming mad customer that says, I wish you would have left it alone. So that's why we advocate on the transmissions at 150, 200,000 miles. That's our cutoff. We will not service your transmission. But the timing belt doesn't follow by that rule. When a certain age accumulates on the belt, it's time. And the longer you wait, the higher the risk goes up. I've actually had a customer had a timing belt break on them. They had it towed in. We looked at it. We saw the belt was in shreds. And we opened the spark plugs, pulled the spark plugs out, and put borescope camera. We could see that the valves were bent. Game over. That's a full engine rebuild. It's not worth it, guys. If you're getting close to that time or you're over the time on your timing belt for your vehicle, make sure to get it done, because although it's not cheap, timing belts can run anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. They really can, depending on which vehicle it is. No muffler Newton. No thank you for that. It sounds like trash, guys. But anyways, so before this vehicle heads back to Tucson, we wanted to do a video to show you guys that there are cars running around out there with very likely the original timing belt from new. And it's definitely, there's a time frame, a lifespan of a timing belt. And while we were doing this video together, we found more things wrong with the vehicle that was unplanned for. It's not fun, guys. It's not fun to get your car worked on. I know, it's kind of like going to the dentist. It's necessary, but it's not fun. I get it. If you're curious what kind of tools we're going to use on this truck, just like that little hood strut tool I just showed you earlier in the video, a lot of the tools we use in the shop are listed for sale in our Amazon affiliates, link in the description below. They're tried and true tools that we use every day here in the shop. If you purchase anything from there, we get a small cut and really appreciate it. And there's so many more cars on the schedule, which means tons more videos for you guys. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Oh, it's a little jumping spider, a baby. Hello. Okay. What?
You're laughing at your jumping spider.
He's a baby.
Don't hurt
He
him.
ran away.
Yeah.
It's like, geez, you're an ugly bearded, ugly thing.
Okay.